It doesn't start with a shout. It rarely ever does. It begins as a whisper, so quiet you can almost convince yourself you imagined it. It's a feeling that arrives without announcement, settling into the calm, quiet corners of your day. Maybe it's there when you're washing the dishes, the hum of the water filling a silence that suddenly feels a little too heavy. Maybe it's in the car when a song you both used to love comes on the radio and you feel a strange, hollow echo where a shared memory used to be. This feeling, it has a color, a muted gray that seems to bleed into the vibrant shades of your life. It's a subtle shift in the atmosphere of your home, a change in the emotional temperature that only you can feel. You walk into a room you just left, and the air feels different, thinner, like the real conversation was paused the moment you entered. There are no words to prove it, no evidence you can hold in your hand, and yet your body keeps the score. Your shoulders are a little tighter. There's a quiet humming tension behind your eyes that wasn't there before. You tell yourself you're tired. You tell yourself you're stressed from work, that you're overthinking, that you're creating stories out of thin air. You try to reason with it, to push it down with logic. You list all the reasons why it can't be true. He was where he said he would be. He called when he said he would call. Everything on the surface appears normal, neatly arranged, just as it should be. And yet, the feeling remains. It's there in the pauses between his words. A microsecond of hesitation when you ask a simple question like, "How was your day?" The story he tells is perfectly fine, but the energy times behind it feels rehearsed. It's a little too detailed, or maybe a little too vague. It doesn't have the easy, comfortable rhythm of a shared truth. It has the carefully constructed cadence of a performance. You find yourself listening not to asterisk what times he is saying, but how times he is saying it. You're tracking the tone, the eye contact, or the lack of it. You watch him as he scrolls through his phone, and a strange sense of distance radiates from him. He's physically here, sitting right next to you on the sofa, but his spirit, his focus, his essence is somewhere else entirely. And in that moment, you feel a profound sense of loneliness that is somehow sharper than being completely alone. It is the loneliness of being with someone who is no longer fully with you. This feeling isn't paranoia. Paranoia is loud, chaotic, and anxious. This is quiet. It is a deep, slow, intuitive knowing. It's the part of you that has existed for thousands of years, the part designed to sense subtle shifts in the environment to keep you safe. It's the primal part of your heart that is tethered to his, and it feels the slack in the line. It feels the vibration of a frequency that is not your own. You feel it in your gut, a low, steady hum of information that your mind hasn't yet accepted. It's the feeling that wakes you up, not from sleep, but from a comfortable dream. And now that you are awake, everything looks a little bit different. You are not creating a problem. You are simply beginning to listen to the answer your soul has already been given. Why your gut feeling is a silent alarm. That feeling we just talked about, that quiet, unsettling hum beneath the surface of your life, is the most sophisticated piece of emotional technology you will ever own. For too long, we've been taught to dismiss it, to call it irrational, to label it as feminine hysteria, to trust only the cold, hard facts we can see and touch. But the most profound truths in a relationship are almost never visible to the naked eye. They are felt, they are sensed, they are known on a level that transcends logic. Your intuition is not magic. It is a biological and psychological supercomputer. Your subconscious mind is a silent observer, constantly recording, analyzing, and storing billions of data points every single day. It registers the flicker in his eyes that lasts only a millisecond. It notes the slight tensing of his jaw when you pick up his phone to check the time. It clocks the way his breathing pattern changes when he's crafting a careful response. It recognizes the scent of a different laundry detergent, the presence of a new word in his vocabulary, the subtle shift in his posture from open and relaxed to closed and guarded. Consciously, you might miss these things. Your conscious mind is busy. It's thinking about dinner, about the bills, about your to-do list. It operates on a single track. But your subconscious mind is a vast, deep ocean, and it misses nothing. It sees the entire mosaic, while your conscious mind is only looking at a single tile. The gut feeling, that sense of unease, is the notification bell. It's your subconscious mind sending a critical alert to your conscious mind saying, pay attention. The pattern has been disrupted. The baseline has changed. Think of it like this. You know the rhythm of your partner's energy better than anyone on this planet. You know the unique melody of his presence. You know how he sounds when he's genuinely happy, how he moves when he's truly relaxed, and how he feels when he's completely present with you. When another person enters his intimate space, it introduces a new discordant note into that melody. He brings an echo of that other energy back with him. It clings to him. It changes his frequency. You may not be able to name it, you may not be able to prove it, but you can absolutely feel it. The song is out of tune. This is not about suspicion, it is about attunement. You are so attuned to your partner that you are the first to know when he is no longer attuned to you. When his emotional and energetic resources are being diverted elsewhere, it creates a void. That is the hollowness you feel. Nature abhors a vacuum, and so does an intimate relationship. His energy, which once flowed freely toward you, is now being redirected. You are feeling the emptiness left behind. So let's make a promise to ourselves right here and now. We will stop apologizing for this feeling. We will stop calling ourselves crazy. We will start treating this intuition not as a source of anxiety, but as a source of information. It is your internal guidance system, your silent alarm, your most loyal protector. It is the truest voice you have. It doesn't speak in words, but in feelings. And right now, it is asking you to do one simple thing: to open your eyes and to quietly, calmly observe. Because what your gut feels, your eyes are about to see. Number one, the physical echo, the scent that doesn't belong to you. Before a word is spoken, before a single piece of evidence comes to light, your most ancient and honest sense has already registered the truth. Scent is the language of memory, of chemistry, of intimacy. It is the invisible thread that connects us to people and places. You know his scent better than you know your own. It is the smell of his skin after a shower, the familiar fragrance of his deodorant, the unique combination of laundry detergent and his own personal chemistry that has become the definition of comfort, of home. It's the scent on his pillow that you turn to in the middle of the night. It is the scent of times, your times, life together. And that is why its absence or its corruption is so profoundly jarring. It begins subtly. You lean in to hug him as he comes through the door, a gesture you've made 1,000 times, but this time something is off. Beneath the layer of his usual cologne, there is a ghost of another fragrance. It's not necessarily a loud perfume, it's often something much more intimate and therefore more disturbing. It could be the clean floral scent of a different woman's body wash, the faint smell of a shampoo that you don't own, the specific aroma of a different person's house, their cooking, their candles, their life. Your conscious mind will immediately try to dismiss it. It will search for a logical explanation. Asterisk, it must be from a coworker he hugged. It's from the restaurant. It's the new air freshener at the gym. Asterisk. He will offer these explanations readily, perhaps a little too quickly. But your primal brain, the part that operates on pure instinct, cannot be so easily fooled. It has detected a foreign element in the one place where nothing should be foreign. It has identified an intruder in your most sacred sensory space. This new scent tells a story. It speaks of a proximity that is not professional, of an environment that is not his own, of an intimacy that does not belong to you. You may even notice that he smells different to himself. He might seem uncomfortable in his own skin, avoiding the very closeness that would allow you to detect it again. This isn't just about a fragrance. It's about a fundamental change in his physical signature. He has carried the echo of another person, another world, back into yours. And no matter how faint it is, your body recognizes it for what it is. the undeniable physical proof that he has been somewhere he shouldn't have been, with someone he shouldn't have been with. The shower that washes away more than dirt. There is a rhythm to the end of a workday, a familiar pattern of transition from the outside world back into the sanctuary of home. Perhaps he usually comes in, drops his keys in the bowl by the door, sighs, and sits with you for a few minutes to unload the stresses of the day. Perhaps he grabs a snack from the kitchen or sorts through the mail. There is a comfortable, predictable sequence of actions that signals his return. When that sequence is shattered, it's a sign that he isn't just transitioning from work to home, he is transitioning from one life back into another. The most telling disruption to this pattern is the immediate, urgent, and almost ritualistic shower. He walks through the door, and before any real connection can be made, before you can truly look in his eyes or feel his presence, his one and only mission is to get to the bathroom. The usual excuses are offered. It was a long, dirty day, or I just feel so grimy, I need to wash this off. But the energy behind it is not one of routine hygiene. It is an energy of desperation. It is a frantic need to cleanse. This shower is not about washing away dirt. It is an attempt to wash away the evidence. He is trying to scrub off the scent of another woman's skin, the touch of her hands, the physical residue of their encounter. It is a subconscious, guilt-driven act of purification. He is attempting to wash away the person he just was so that he can once again become the person he is supposed to be with you. By stepping under the water, he is trying to create a symbolic boundary, a clean slate, hoping that the water will carry away not just the physical traces, but the emotional and psychological weight of his actions. Pay attention to the details of this ritual. Does he lock the door now when he never used to? Does the shower last an unusually long time, far longer than necessary for simply getting clean? When he finally emerges, observe his demeanor. Is there a sense of relief, as if he has just completed a stressful and necessary task? Does he seem more relaxed, more able to look you in the eye, now that the physical barrier of his infidelity has been, in his mind, washed away? This immediate shower is a red flag, not because of the act itself, but because of the psychology driving it. It is the act of a man who feels a desperate need to physically remove one life from his skin before he can dare to touch you with it. The story his clothes tell our clothes are silent witnesses. They absorb the environments we are in, they carry the scents we encounter, and they hold the physical story of our actions. For a man who has just been with another woman, his clothing becomes a landscape of evidence that he feels an urgent need to manage, clean, or destroy. One of the most common and telling shifts in behavior is a sudden, uncharacteristic obsession with laundry. The man who typically lets his clothes pile up for a week is now stripping the moment he gets home, his clothes going directly into the washing machine. There's no pile, no hamper, just an immediate need to erase the day. This isn't a newfound sense of cleanliness. It is a meticulous destruction of evidence. He is washing away her scent, a potential makeup smudge, or any other physical trace that his clothes might hold. By taking control of the laundry, he takes control of the narrative, ensuring you never have the chance to innocently stumble upon a piece of the story he doesn't want you to read. Look for the small inconsistencies, the details that feel out of place. A shirt that is put on inside out or backwards speaks of dressing, in a hurry, perhaps in a dimly lit room that is not his own. A dress shirt that should be crisp comes home unusually wrinkled, not from a day at a desk, but with creases that suggest it was hastily discarded on a floor. You might find a small, unidentifiable stain, or a long strand of hair that is not your color or texture. These are the quiet clues that clothing offers up. The reverse can be just as telling. He may come home far later than expected, but his clothes seem unnervingly fresh, as if he just changed. This can suggest he is keeping a spare set of clothes in his car or at another location to cover his tracks. The timeline doesn't add up. The clothes he is wearing do not match the story of the long, hard day he just described. They are part of a costume designed to make him look the part of the man he is pretending to be. His clothes are no longer just fabric, they are props in a carefully managed performance. Each wrinkled collar or freshly laundered shirt is a line in a script you were never meant to see. The overly clean car, a man's car is often his kingdom. It's a transitional space, a private bubble that is neither work nor home, and for this reason, it is one of the most common stages for infidelity. It is a space where he feels he has control, a place you may not enter as frequently, making it a blind spot in your shared life. When his relationship with this private space dramatically changes, it is a signal that the space itself is no longer just his. Consider the baseline. Was his car typically a place of organized chaos? A collection of empty coffee cups, old receipts, gym clothes in the back? This is the normal state of a life being lived. A powerful sign that this space has been compromised is when it becomes suddenly, almost surgically, clean. The man who never bothered to clear out the clutter is now meticulously vacuuming, wiping down every surface, and removing any and all personal items. This is not the behavior of someone who has simply decided to be tidier. This is the behavior of someone who is scrubbing a crime scene. He is frantically erasing any trace of a second passenger. He's vacuuming away a strand of hair, wiping away a fingerprint from the dashboard, throwing out a single stray receipt from a coffee shop you've never been to. The goal is to create a sterile environment, a blank slate that tells no stories. The obsessive cleanliness is a direct reflection of the magnitude of his secret. The messier his betrayal, the cleaner his car will be. Beyond the general cleanliness, look for small but significant adjustments. The passenger seat is the most telling. Is it pushed back further than you would have it, or reclined at an angle you never use? This is a physical imprint of another person's body, a ghost in the machine. Check the radio presets or the music app. Are there stations or playlists that you don't recognize, reflecting someone else's taste? The sudden disappearance of all personal items is also a red flag. By removing everything, he ensures that nothing incriminating can be found. But in doing so, he creates an impersonal, sterile bubble. The car has been transformed from a personal space into a neutral zone, precisely because it has recently been anything but. Number 2, the behavioral quake, the seesaw of affection. When a man is living a double life, he can no longer exist in a state of simple, stable emotion. His inner world is a turbulent sea of guilt, fear, excitement, and anxiety. And this inner chaos inevitably spills out into his behavior. For you, the woman living with him, it feels like being on a violent seesaw. One moment, you are plunged into a confusing, icy distance. The next, you are launched into a dizzying, overwhelming display of affection. Neither feels real. Both are symptoms of the same disease. Let's first talk about the cold. This is the more obvious, instinctual reaction. He creates distance because he feels like a fraud. Looking you in the eye, touching you, or engaging in intimate conversation feels unbearable because it magnifies his guilt. Every act of normal intimacy is a painful reminder of his betrayal. So he builds a wall. He becomes emotionally unavailable, physically distant. He might retreat into his phone, his work, or a new, all-consuming hobby. The message is clear. Asterisk, do not get close. Asterisk, this distance is a form of self-preservation for him. He is afraid that if you get too close, you will see the truth written all over him, that you will smell the lie, that you will feel the inauthenticity in his touch. This coldness is not about you. It is a direct reflection of his own inner turmoil. He is pushing you away because he cannot stand to see his own reflection in your loving eyes. But then, just as you begin to adjust to this new cold climate, the seesaw violently shifts. Suddenly, he is the most attentive, loving partner in the world. He brings you flowers for no reason. He showers you with compliments. He plans elaborate date nights. He initiates a level of affection that feels almost desperate. This is guilt gifting and overcompensation. It is not a genuine overflow of love. It is a frantic attempt to balance the scales. He is trying to convince not only you but himself that he is still a good man, a loving partner. Each gift is an apology he cannot speak. Each grand gesture is a distraction, a bright, shiny object designed to keep you from looking at the darkness lurking in the shadows. This behavior is so confusing because it preys on your hope. The coldness hurts you, but the sudden affection gives you a dangerous glimmer of what you want to believe, that everything is okay, that you were just imagining the distance. But authentic affection is calm, steady, and consistent. This is erratic, manic, and ungrounded. It feels like a performance because at times one, he is swinging wildly between the two poles of his guilt, the need to run away from it and the need to cover it up. For you, living on this seesaw is emotional whiplash, a constant state of instability where neither the highs nor the lows feel like solid ground. The unsolicited alibi truth is simple. It doesn't need decoration. It doesn't require a detailed explanation. When you ask your partner, "How was your afternoon?" a typical honest response is straightforward. "It was good, pretty busy. I had that meeting with Mark," and then just tried to catch up on emails. The details are minimal because the event was unremarkable. Honesty is calm. Deception, on the other hand, is a frantic artist. It feels a desperate need to paint a masterpiece, to create a story so rich with detail, so filled with vivid imagery, that no one would ever dare to question its authenticity. This is the psychology of the unsolicited alibi. You'll notice it when you ask a simple question and receive a feature-length film in response. You didn't ask for a timeline, but you get one complete with exact times, street names, and verbatim quotes from conversations. I left the office at exactly 5:15, and traffic on the main drag was just awful, probably because of that accident near the bridge everyone was talking about. I decided to take the back road by the old mill, and I was so glad I did. I even stopped to get gas at the Shell station, and you'll never guess who I ran into, Dave from accounting. We talked for about 10 minutes about the quarterly reports. He keeps talking, layering detail upon detail, building a fortress of words. The sheer volume of information is designed to be overwhelming, to short-circuit your critical thinking. A story this detailed times must times be true, right, wrong. This is a pre-rehearsed script. He has spent time in the car, in the shower, in the moments before he saw you constructing this narrative. He has anticipated your questions and prepared his answers. The story is not a memory, it is a fabrication. And like any artist, he is overly proud of his creation and feels the need to show you every single brushstroke. The key giveaway is that the details are completely irrelevant. They don't add to the story, they are the story. He's focusing on the mundane minutiae to distract from the gaping hole where the truth should be. He's hoping that by flooding you with useless information, you won't notice the one crucial piece of information he is desperately trying to hide. Another sign is when he offers this detailed alibi without you even asking. You might just greet him at the door with a simple, "Hey, you're home late," and you are immediately met with a defensive 10-minute monologue explaining his every move since he left work. This defensiveness is a massive red flag. An innocent person doesn't feel the need to justify their timeline. A guilty person feels as though they are always on trial and they have come with their testimony prepared. He is not just telling you about his day, he is desperately trying to sell you a version of it. He is talking so much because he is terrified of the silence. Because in the silence, you might just hear the truth. The sudden obsession with privacy, a healthy, committed relationship is built on a foundation of shared space, not just physical space, but emotional, mental, and digital space. There is a comfortable, unspoken ease. Doors are left open, phones are left on the coffee table, thoughts are shared freely. It is a state of mutual trust and transparency. When a third person enters the equation, this open concept design must be immediately renovated. Suddenly, walls go up where there were once open doors. A new, desperate need for privacy emerges, and it feels less like a healthy boundary and more like the construction of a secret bunker. This obsession with privacy often starts in the physical realm. The bathroom door, which was once always left ajar, is now firmly clicked shut and locked every single time. A phone call that would have been taken in the kitchen is now taken outside or in the garage. his voice lowered to a murmur. He begins to need an unusual amount of alone time that feels less about personal rejuvenation and more about logistical necessity. The sudden need to go for a drive to clear his head or run to the store for a single item at an odd hour becomes a frequent occurrence. These are not genuine needs for solitude. They are escapes. He is creating pockets of time and space where he can manage the logistics of his other life without your oversight. This need for privacy is a direct response to the secret he is keeping. The secret is like a physical object that he must constantly hide. He cannot leave it out in the open. He needs rooms with locks. He needs cars to sit in. He needs the shield of distance to communicate with the other person, check messages, and delete evidence. His world, which was once an open book to you, has become a novel with entire chapters ripped out. You feel this shift as a palpable sense of being shut out. The easy flow of communication is gone, replaced by a guarded need-to-know basis. You might ask what he's smiling at on his phone, a question you've asked 1,000 times before, but now it is met with a defensive, nothing, just a stupid video. He is no longer sharing his inner world with you because a significant portion of that world is now a restricted area. This new demand for privacy is one of the most painful signs because it fundamentally alters the architecture of your relationship. He is not just closing a door, he is locking you out of parts of the life you built together. The open, shared territory of your partnership is shrinking day by day as he annexes more and more of it for his secrets. He claims he needs space, but what he is really creating is a hiding place. And inside that hidden space, he is nurturing a life that does not include you. Number 3, the emotional void, the emptiness in his eyes. Of all the signs we will ever discuss, this one is the most subtle and yet the most devastating. It is not something you can photograph or record. It is not a clue you can present as evidence. It is a profound and painful truth that you can only feel a change. You can only see in the one place. A person can never truly lie, their eyes. The eyes are, as the saying goes, the windows to the soul. And when you look into his, you realize with a heart-sinking certainty that the lights are off. The home you once knew is empty. This is not a temporary distraction, like the vacant look of someone stressed about work or lost in thought. This is a fundamental shift in the way he sees you and the way he allows himself to be seen times by times you. Eye contact, which was once the bedrock of your connection, the silent language of your love, has now become a minefield. He will do anything to avoid it. He will look at the television while you're speaking. He will suddenly become fascinated by something on the floor. He will stare at his phone while giving you one-word answers. He avoids your gaze because he knows what you will see there. He is afraid that your loving, knowing eyes will peer right past his defenses and see the guilt, the secret, and the ghost of another woman. Your gaze has become a mirror, and he cannot bear to look at his own reflection. On the rare occasions when he does meet your eyes, the connection is gone. It's like looking at a beautifully rendered but lifeless photograph. The warmth has been replaced by a guarded flatness. The spark of recognition, that special light that was reserved only for you, has been extinguished. You are looking at him, and he is looking back, but he is not times with times you. His spirit is 1,000 miles away. You can feel him holding a part of himself back, a protective shield behind his pupils that you are not allowed to penetrate. It is a look of profound emotional absence. This is perhaps the most painful sign of all, because it signals that the betrayal is not just physical. A physical transgression can, for some, be forgiven, but this emptiness in his eyes signifies an emotional and spiritual infidelity. He has withdrawn his soul from the relationship. He has disconnected the energetic cord that once bound you together. He is no longer emotionally invested because his emotional capital is being spent elsewhere. You are speaking to a shell, a man who is physically present but spiritually absent. And the loneliness you feel in that moment, the loneliness of being unseen by the person who once saw you more clearly than anyone else in the world, is a grief that is deep, quiet, and utterly soul-crushing. You are not just losing a partner. You are witnessing the slow, silent death of the connection that was once the center of your universe. Picking fights out of thin air, peace and harmony become unbearable to a person living with a guilty conscience. A calm, loving home is a stark, painful contrast to the chaos and turmoil within him. In a strange and self-destructive way, he needs the outside world to reflect the ugliness he feels on the inside. And so he becomes a saboteur of peace. He becomes an architect of pointless arguments, picking fights out of thin air over things that are so trivial, so illogical, that they leave you standing in a state of utter bewilderment. The fight might start because you loaded the dishwasher in a way he suddenly disapproves of, even though you've been doing it that way for years. It might erupt because you were 5 minutes late coming home, or because you forgot to buy his favorite brand of coffee. These are not the real reasons. These are the flimsy excuses, the kindling he uses to start a much-needed fire. The real reason he is fighting is to create emotional distance. An argument is the quickest and most effective way to build a wall between two people. If he can make you angry, if he can make you the bad guy, then he doesn't have to feel so guilty. This is a psychological tactic known as projection. He is drowning in negative feelings about himself, guilt, shame, self-loathing, and he cannot hold them all. So he projects them onto you. He accuses you of being controlling when he is the one whose life is spiraling out of control. He calls you distant and uncaring when he is the one who has emotionally checked out of the relationship. By making you the source of the problem, he creates a temporary, delusional relief from his own self-hatred. For you, these fights are maddeningly confusing. You find yourself defending your actions, trying to apply logic to a situation that has none. You try to understand how leaving a light on in the kitchen could possibly have led to a 2-hour argument about your fundamental character flaws. You are trying to play a game of chess, but he has knocked the board over and is screaming about a game of checkers. You cannot win because the fight was never about what you did. It was about what he times did. It's also a way for him to subconsciously justify his betrayal in his own mind. If he can create a narrative where the relationship is constantly fraught with conflict, where you are impossible to live with, then his actions outside the relationship can be painted not as a betrayal, but as an escape, a form of solace. He is not just fighting with you, he is fighting for his own twisted justification. He is creating chaos to make his own choices seem sane. The death of inside jokes. Every relationship has its own secret, sacred language. It is a language built over time, woven from shared experiences, whispered secrets, and moments of pure, unadulterated laughter. It is the language of inside jokes, of nicknames, of knowing glances across a crowded room. It is the shorthand of the heart, a way of communicating that says, we are a team. We have a world that belongs only to us. When a man has created a new secret world with someone else, he begins to forget this language. Or worse, speaking it feels like a betrayal to his new allegiance. And so one of the most poignant signs that his heart has strayed is the slow, silent death of your shared humor. You might bring up a familiar joke, a callback to a funny memory that has always made him laugh, and it is met with a blank stare or a forced, hollow chuckle that doesn't reach his eyes. The connection fizzles. The joke lands in an empty space, a void where the shared memory used to live. He may even seem annoyed by it, as if you are reminding him of a past life, of a person he no longer is. The ease and joy of that shared history is now a source of discomfort for him because it highlights the chasm that now exists between who he was and who he has become. This is not a simple case of him being distracted or in a bad mood. It is a fundamental linguistic shift. He is learning a new language with someone else. He is creating new inside jokes, new memories, new points of reference. His emotional and mental energy is being spent building a new culture of intimacy. And as a result, the culture you built together begins to decay from neglect. The private world you shared, once a vibrant and thriving ecosystem, is becoming a ghost town. You feel this loss in the small moments of your day. The funny thing you saw that you can't wait to tell him about, only to have it met with a distracted uh-huh. The playful, sarcastic banter that was once your favorite form of foreplay, now met with silence or a defensive retort. It feels as if a door has been closed, a channel of communication has gone static. This is a sign of a deep emotional infidelity. The physical act is one thing, but the theft of intimacy is another. He has taken the energy that was meant to feed your connection and is using it to nourish another. The inside jokes, the laughter, the secret language, these were the glue that held your world together. And as you watch them fade, you are not just watching a man become less funny, you are watching the very foundation of your shared world crumble, one silent, humorless moment at a time. The change in the bedroom is a barometer for the health of a relationship. It is the place where emotional intimacy and physical vulnerability are supposed to intertwine. When infidelity enters the picture, this sacred space is almost always the first to feel the seismic shockwave, and it typically manifests in one of two extreme and opposite ways. The first, and perhaps most common, is the complete and utter desertion of physical intimacy. He stops initiating. He finds excuses to go to bed at a different time than you, either staying up much later or claiming exhaustion and turning in hours earlier. When you try to initiate, he will gently or not so gently rebuff you. The excuses are always plausible on the surface. I'm just so tired from work. I have an early meeting. My back is killing me. But the pattern is undeniable. The man who once desired you now seems to be actively avoiding your touch. This avoidance is born from guilt. For a man who has just been with another woman, touching you can feel like a profane act. He feels unclean, fraudulent. He feels as though you will be able to sense the other woman on his skin, in his touch. Your body, which was once a source of comfort and pleasure, has become a mirror for his betrayal, and he cannot bear the reflection. Furthermore, his sexual energy and desire, a finite resource, has been expended elsewhere. He has nothing left to give you. The well is dry because someone else has been drinking from it. The second extreme is in many ways even more disturbing. It is not a lack of intimacy, but a sudden surge of it, an intimacy that feels aggressive, impersonal, and strangely foreign. He may become more demanding, more adventurous, initiating new acts or positions that have never been a part of your shared repertoire. It might feel exciting for a moment, but it is quickly followed by a feeling of deep unease. You feel less like a cherished partner and more like an object, a prop in a performance. This is because he is quite literally bringing his experiences with the other woman into your bed. He is reenacting a script that he learned on a different stage. The intimacy is purely physical, detached from any real emotional connection. There is no tenderness, no eye contact, no sense of shared vulnerability. It feels mechanical. During these encounters, you may get the distinct, chilling feeling that he is not actually with times you asterisk. His eyes are closed, his mind is elsewhere, and you are simply a stand-in for the person he is really thinking about. Whether he has turned your bed into a desert or a pornographic film set, the result is the same. The true, authentic intimacy you once shared is gone. It has been replaced by either a void or a violation. Number 4, the digital ghost, the phone, is now his Siamese twin. There used to be 3 entities in your relationship: you, him, and the life you built together. Now there is a 4th. It is sleek, silent, and it holds more of his attention, his secrets, and his intimacy than you do. It's his phone, and it is no longer just a device. It has become an extension of his body, a vital organ he cannot live without, a digital ghost that haunts every room in your home. Think back to how it used to be. The phone was a tool. It sat on the kitchen counter while you made dinner. It was left on the arm of the sofa while you watched a movie. It was a peripheral object, secondary to the life happening in front of it. Now observe the new reality. The phone has moved from the periphery to the absolute center of his universe. It is the first thing he reaches for in the morning and the last thing he looks at before he closes his eyes at night. It is his constant, inseparable companion. It goes with him everywhere. Not just out of the house, but times within asterisk. the house. He takes it to the bathroom and stays there for 20, 30 minutes at a time. It sits on the edge of the shower, just outside the curtain, as if he's afraid to miss a critical, life-altering notification. He takes it with him to the garage to take out the trash. It rests on the nightstand next to him as he sleeps, often face down, and sometimes even under his pillow, a modern-day treasure chest tucked away from pirates. This behavior is not about a sudden addiction to social media or a newfound passion for mobile games. This is about control. The phone is the primary portal to his secret life. It contains the evidence of his betrayal, the messages, the call logs, the pictures, the apps. Leaving it unattended, even for 30 seconds, is a risk he simply cannot afford to take. In his mind, an unattended phone is an open invitation for you to stumble upon the truth. By keeping it physically attached to him at all times, he is not just staying connected to the other woman, he is actively guarding the crime scene. You feel its presence like a third person in the room. You will be in the middle of a sentence, and his eyes will flick down to the screen. The conversation is severed. You have lost the connection, not to another person, but to a glowing rectangle of glass and metal. It has become a barrier, a shield he holds up to keep you at a distance. He is physically present, but his consciousness, his attention, and his emotional energy are being poured into that device. It has become his confidant, his co-conspirator, and the primary vessel for the intimacy that once belonged to you. The phone is no longer his tool. He has become a slave to it because it holds the key to the secret that is consuming him. The art of the screen tilt body language is the subconscious mind's native tongue, and there is no more telling digital era gesture than the art of the screen tilt. It is a subtle, almost imperceptible movement, but it is as loud as a confession. It is a physical manifestation of the phrase, "I have something to hide." It happens in the most mundane moments. You are sitting together on the sofa and you lean over to grab a blanket. In that instant, his hand instinctively angles the screen of his phone away from your line of sight. You walk into the kitchen while he's texting, and as he looks up, his thumb simultaneously locks the screen as he places it face down on the counter. You walk behind him while he's on his laptop, and the entire device is snapped shut with a speed that is startling. These are not conscious, premeditated actions. They are lightning-fast reflexes, born from a constant low-grade state of fear and hypervigilance. He has trained his body to protect his secrets automatically. Pay attention to this digital body language. It is a dance of concealment. Notice the way he positions himself in a room, always choosing a seat that puts his back to a wall, giving him a full view of all entrances and exits. This gives him a precious few seconds of warning to hide what he is doing if you approach. He will hold his phone lower than usual, angled in toward his body, forcing him to crane his neck down in an uncomfortable position. The discomfort is a small price to pay for the security it provides. This behavior becomes even more pronounced when a notification arrives. The phone will buzz, and instead of casually glancing at it, he will pick it up and physically turn his entire body away from you to read it. The movement is unnatural and secretive. It creates an invisible wall around him and his device. This is the digital equivalent of turning your back on someone while whispering. It is an act of exclusion, a clear signal that the information he is receiving is not for you to see. This constant concealment is exhausting for him, and it creates a palpable cloud of tension in the air. The relaxed, open atmosphere of your home is replaced by a sense of guardedness. You begin to feel like an intruder in your own space, as if you are constantly on the verge of walking in on something you're not supposed to see. He is no longer just using his phone, he is shielding it. He is protecting it with the same primal instinct that a dragon would use to guard its treasure. And, with a sinking feeling in your heart that the most precious treasure is never just gold, it is always a secret. Notification anonymity. Notifications are the heartbeat of our digital lives. They are the constant stream of pings, buzzes, and banners that connect us to the outside world. In a transparent relationship, these notifications are largely an open book. A message from a friend, pops up with their name and a preview of the text. An email from work shows the subject line. There is a casual, unthinking openness to it. When a secret life is being managed, this entire ecosystem has to be re-engineered for one purpose: anonymity. The goal is to make it impossible for a casual glance to reveal anything incriminating. One of the first changes you might notice is the disappearance of names. Where his screen once showed a message from Sarah or Mum, it now displays a sterile generic alert, new message. He has gone into his settings and turned off message previews. On the surface, he might claim this is for privacy or to reduce distractions, but it's a deliberate tactic to strip all context from incoming communications. It allows him to receive a message from the other woman while he is sitting right next to you, and all you will see is a notification that could be from anyone: his boss, his phone company, his best friend. It neuters the threat of a revealing message popping up at the wrong time. The next layer of this is the strategic use of the do not disturb or silent mode. His phone, which used to buzz and chime throughout the day, suddenly goes completely silent. It lives in a perpetual state of muted secrecy. He will claim it's to be more present, but you will notice he is checking his phone with even more obsessive frequency than before. He has to manually check for new messages, as he can no longer rely on audible alerts. The silence is not for his peace of mind. It's to prevent a telltale buzz at 2 a.m, or a revealing phone call from a specific number while you are in the car together. Pay attention to the timing and his reaction. A flurry of notifications might arrive late at night, and he will quickly dismiss them with a wave of his hand, saying it's just the group chat. But there's a nervous energy to his dismissal. He is eager to shut down any curiosity you might have. You may also notice him using new unfamiliar apps or renaming contacts in his phone. A name like John Work might seem innocent, but if a message from that contact elicits a response that is clearly not work-related, it's a major red flag. He has created a digital fortress where everything is designed to look mundane on the surface. The names have been changed, the previews have been hidden, and the alarms have been silenced. He is communicating in code, hiding in plain sight. The wrong number excuse. There are few things as jarring as a sudden, panicked reaction to a ringing phone. In a normal context, a phone call is just a phone call. We glance at the screen, we answer, or we silence it. The action is calm and routine, but when the phone call is a threat, the reaction is anything but calm. It is a moment of pure, unfiltered panic, and it is almost always followed by one of the oldest and most transparent lies in the book. Here is the scene. You are together, and his phone rings. He looks at the screen, and you see a flash of something in his eyes. Not recognition, but alarm. His entire body tenses. What happens next is a frantic scramble. He might jab at the screen to silence the call with a haste that is almost violent. He might immediately stand up and walk into another room to answer it, his back to you, his voice a low, urgent whisper. Or he might let it ring, his eyes darting back and forth between the phone and you, a silent debate raging in his mind. The most telling scenario is when he answers and his entire demeanor changes. His voice becomes clipped, formal, and annoyed. Hello? Who is this? I think you have the wrong number. He hangs up abruptly, perhaps with an exaggerated sigh of frustration. He turns to you and says, "Unbelievable, another telemarketer," or "No idea who that was, wrong number." Let's break down why this is such a significant clue. Firstly, the initial panic. An innocent person does not panic at an incoming call. They are curious or annoyed, but not terrified. His panic is the panic of being caught. He is terrified that you might have seen the name on the screen, or that the person on the other end will say something incriminating before he can stop them. Secondly, the lie itself is lazy. In today's world of caller ID, genuine wrong number calls are rare, and our reaction is usually a simple, "Sorry, wrong number," not a full-blown performance of annoyance. The energy he puts into the excuse is directly proportional to the size of the lie he is telling. He overacts the part of the annoyed victim of a spam call to distract from the real drama that just unfolded. He needs you to believe his version of events so badly that he turns it into a small theatrical production. You may also notice this pattern with text messages. A message will come in, he will read it, his face will fall, and he will quickly delete it, muttering just more spam. The action is too quick, too defensive. He is not just deleting a message, he is destroying evidence right in front of you. This is not how a person deals with an inconvenience. This is how a person deals with a threat. From observation to clarity, the pattern is the proof. As you listen to these signs, a heavy feeling of recognition may be settling in your heart. One by one, the pieces begin to click into place, forming a picture you never wanted to see. It is a deeply overwhelming and sorrowful moment. It's the moment when denial gives way to a painful clarity. The temptation, even now, is to doubt yourself. Your logical mind, the part of you that desperately wants everything to be okay, will try to dismantle the evidence. It will tell you that a single hastily ended phone call could genuinely be a wrong number. It will argue that an immediate shower could just be a new habit. It will insist that a fight over something small was just the result of a stressful day. And in isolation, it could be right. Any one of these signs on its own can be explained away. We are masters at finding rational explanations for the things that scare us. It is a defense mechanism designed to protect our hearts from breaking. But we are not looking at a single isolated incident. We are not talking about one strange occurrence. We are talking about a pattern, and the pattern is the only proof you will ever need. Think of it this way: a single raindrop on your arm is just a drop of water. You might not even notice it. But when you feel a second drop, and then a third, and you look up to see a sky full of dark, heavy clouds, you know with absolute certainty that a storm is coming. You don't need to be struck by lightning to know it's time to seek shelter. The pattern tells you everything. This is what has been happening in your relationship. You have been feeling the raindrops. The sudden obsession with privacy was a drop. The emotional distance in his eyes was a drop. The frantic screen tilting, the unsolicited alibis, the fights from nowhere, each one was another drop. And now you are standing in a downpour. It is time to stop analyzing each individual drop and acknowledge the storm that is raging around you. I want you to take a mental step back, zoom out from the individual clues, look at the entire landscape of your relationship over the past few weeks or months. Don't focus on what times he said about his late night at work. Focus on the pattern times of him being emotionally absent, physically distant, and digitally secretive. The power is not in any single clue, it is in the undeniable weight of all of them combined. This pattern is the voice of your intuition, which first whispered to you in the quiet moments, now screaming at you through the irrefutable evidence of your own observations. You are not a detective building a case to prosecute. You are a woman who is waking up and accepting a reality that has been presenting itself to you for some time. Seeing the pattern is not an act of paranoia. It is an act of profound self-awareness and self-respect. It is you finally giving yourself permission to believe what you have known in your gut all along. The pattern is your truth. It is your clarity. It is the solid ground you can stand on as you decide what to do next. The path of quiet confidence, now that the fog of confusion has lifted, it is often replaced by a raging fire. A fire of anger, of betrayal, of a deep primal urge to confront. You want to run to him, throw the evidence in his face, and demand the truth. You want to scream, to cry, to force a confession from his lips. You want the satisfaction of the confrontation, the release of all this pent-up pain and anxiety. This feeling is completely 100% normal. It is a valid and understandable reaction to having your world turned upside down. But I want to invite you just for a moment to pause, to take a deep breath, and to not act on that first fiery impulse. The moment of clarity is a moment of immense power. For the first time in a long time, you hold the truth while he is still scrambling to hide it. This is not a power to be wielded with rage and impulsivity. It is a power to be held with a quiet, deliberate confidence. An immediate emotional confrontation almost never gives you what you are truly seeking. It gives him control. Your raw, unfiltered pain becomes the focus. He can call you hysterical, he can gaslight you, he can twist your words and turn the tables until you are the one who feels like you've done something wrong. A reactive confrontation is a battle you are almost guaranteed to lose. So what is the alternative? It is the path of quiet confidence. It is a short, intentional period of continued observation, but with a completely different energy. You are no longer anxiously searching for clues, hoping you are wrong. You are now observing from a place of knowing, waiting for the right moment to act. This period is not for him. It is for times, you asterisk. It is a sacred pause, a time for you to sit with this new reality and allow your own emotions to move through you, the shock, the grief, the anger. You need to process this truth for yourself before you invite his lies and excuses into the equation. Think of yourself as the calm, steady eye of the hurricane. All around you is the chaos of his deception, but in your center, you are clear. During this time, you are not setting a trap or playing a game. You are gathering your emotional strength. You are deciding what you need, what your boundaries are, and what you want the outcome to be. You are moving from being a reactor to his actions, to becoming the director of your own. This quiet confidence is your shield. When you see him tilt his phone away, you will no longer feel a pang of anxiety. You will feel a quiet, sad confirmation. When he picks a fight, you will no longer get drawn into the drama. You will see it for the deflection that it is. This pause transforms you. It takes you from a place of panicked vulnerability to a place of grounded strength. And when you do finally choose to speak, you will not be speaking from a place of woundedness, but from a place of unshakable, powerful, quiet confidence. Preparing for the conversation you don't want to have, there comes a point where the quiet observation must end and a conversation must begin. The thought of this conversation can be paralyzing. It feels like standing at the edge of a cliff, knowing that one single step will change everything forever. The fear of what he might say, what he might do, or what might be lost can be all-consuming. But avoiding this conversation is no longer an option, because your peace of mind is worth more than the fragile, false peace of pretending. So how do you prepare for the conversation you wish with all your heart you didn't have to have? First, you must define your goal. Before you say a single word, you need to know what you are trying to achieve. Are you seeking a full confession? Do you need to know all the details? Or is your goal simply to state your truth, to tell him what you have seen and how it has made you feel, and to see how he responds? Perhaps your goal is to declare that the relationship is over. There is no right answer, but you must have asterisk your time's answer. Your goal is your compass. Without it, the conversation will be lost at sea. Second, prepare your opening words. The way a conversation begins often determines its entire course. Instead of leading with an accusation like, "I know you cheated," which will immediately trigger his defenses, lead with your own feelings. Practice saying it out loud. "Lately, I have been feeling a deep sense of distance from you." Or, "I need to talk to you because I have been feeling very insecure in our relationship. And I want to tell you what I've been observing." This approach is not weaker. It is smarter. It is impossible for him to argue with your feelings. They are your undeniable truth. Third, you must prepare for his reaction. Walk through the potential scenarios in your mind. He may lie and gaslight you, calling you crazy and paranoid. He may get angry and defensive, trying to blame you. Or he may break down, confess everything, and beg for forgiveness. Be prepared for any of these outcomes. By anticipating his potential reactions, you rob them of their power to shock you and throw you off balance. You can remain centered because you have already considered the possibility. Finally, prepare your space and your spirit. Choose a time when you are both calm and have privacy. Do not start this conversation when you are tired, hungry, or rushed. Before you speak, do something that makes you feel grounded. Hold a warm cup of tea. Call a friend who supports you. Write down your main points on a piece of paper. This conversation is an act of profound courage. It is you standing up for your right to live in the truth. It is not an attack. It is an act of liberation. You are not starting a war. You are ending a period of painful uncertainty and taking the first step toward your own peace. Your anchor in the storm, your feelings are not up for debate. As you stand on the precipice of this life-altering conversation, there is one final crucial piece of armor you must put on. It is the most important truth in this entire journey, and it will serve as your anchor in the storm that may be about to begin. It is this: your feelings are not up for debate. Your reality is not negotiable. Your intuition is not on trial. He will try to make it a trial. If he is not ready to tell the truth, his only defense is to attack your perception of reality. This is the insidious, soul-crushing tactic of gaslighting. He will listen to your carefully chosen words, your heartfelt "I feel" statements, and he will look at you with a convincing performance of bewilderment and hurt. He will tell you that you are imagining things. He will say that you are being insecure, that your stress is making you paranoid, that you are misinterpreting everything. He will take the clear, undeniable pattern you have observed and attempt to dismantle it piece by piece until you are left standing in a pile of confusion, questioning your own sanity. He will try to make you believe that the problem is not his behavior, but your perception of it. This is the most critical moment. This is where you must hold on to your truth with all your might. You can allow for the possibility that you have misinterpreted a single event, but you cannot and you must not allow him to invalidate the entire landscape of your emotional experience. Let's be perfectly clear. He does not get to decide how his actions made you feel. He does not get to tell you that the emptiness you saw in his eyes was just tiredness. He doesn't get to tell you that the wall he built between you was just work stress. He doesn't get to rewrite your emotional history. You felt what you felt. You saw what you saw. You experienced the shift from connection to disconnection, from transparency to secrecy, from intimacy to absence. This experience is your data. It is real. It is valid. And it is yours alone to own. In that moment of confrontation, when he is trying to convince you that the sky is green, you do not have to argue. You do not have to raise your voice. You simply have to hold your ground internally. You can say, "I understand that is your perspective, but this is how it has felt for me." Or, "I am not willing to debate my own feelings. I know what I have experienced." Your feelings are the one thing he cannot take from you unless you willingly hand them over. Do not hand them over. They are your compass, your guide, your truth. He can deny his actions, he can lie about his whereabouts, he can invent 1,000 stories, but he cannot refute the truth of your heart. Let that be your anchor. No matter how hard the wind blows or how high the waves crash, hold on to it. It will keep you from being swept away in his storm of deception. The woman you are becoming, this painful chapter of your life, feels like an ending. And in many ways, it is. It may be the end of the relationship as you knew it. It may be the end of the trust you once had. It is most certainly the end of a blissful, beautiful ignorance. But I want to offer you a different perspective. This is not just an ending. This is a violent, painful, and profoundly necessary beginning. This is the moment of your awakening. This is the birth of the woman you are becoming. The woman you were before this journey began was a wonderful person. She was trusting, open, and perhaps a little naive. She lived in a world she believed to be safe, built on a foundation she believed to be solid. There is no shame in being that woman, but the storm has come and it has washed away that world. And the woman who is left standing in the aftermath is different. She is stronger. She is wiser. Her eyes are wide open, not just to the pain of betrayal, but to the incredible, unshakable power of her own intuition. For weeks, or maybe months, you have been a quiet observer, a student of human behavior, a courageous seeker of truth. You have learned to listen to the whispers of your own soul. You have learned to trust the data your body gives you. You have learned to see through the performances and the lies to the heart of what is real. These are not just skills for surviving a crisis. These are the superpowers you will carry with you for the rest of your life. You have met your own inner wisdom, and now that you know her, you must never, ever let her go. Whatever happens next, whether the relationship ends or you begin the long, arduous journey of trying to rebuild it, is secondary to this primary transformation. The most important relationship that will be redefined through this process is the one you have with yourself. You have proven to yourself that you can face the ugliest of truths. You have proven that you can walk through the fire of uncertainty and come out on the other side, not destroyed, but refined. You have learned that your peace is more valuable than his comfort, and your truth is more important than his lies. Look at the woman you are right now in this very moment. You are not broken. You are broken open. You are a woman who is no longer willing to live a half life, to accept a half love, or to believe in a half truth. You are a woman who is claiming her right to a life of emotional honesty and integrity. This journey has been excruciating, but it has not been for nothing. It has been a painful, sacred, and transformative rite of passage. It has been the catalyst that has introduced you to the most powerful, wise, and resilient person you will ever know, yourself. And she is just getting started.